What's going on, guys? Crypto Renegade here for you. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full crypto hardware wallet comparison between the brand new Keystone Pro 3 on my left and the brand new Ellipal Titan 2 on my right. There are some new things that I need to talk to you guys about after testing these very extensively. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a full breakdown and crypto hardware wallet comparison and review for the brand new Keystone Pro 3 on my left and the Ellipal Titan 2, which you saw in the intro. What's interesting, and I'm trying to hold it a little bit differently to avoid the glare for you, but what's interesting here is there's a lot that's changed with the Keystone Pro 3, not just in their usability, but the overall security and form factor and design, and there's been some welcome upgrades on the Ellipal Titan 2. If you didn't see the dedicated review video for either of these, I will link them down in the description, but let's go ahead and start here. What I normally do is I do a 3-part breakdown of these wallets. First thing I tend to look at is the security, form factor, overall design, and user experience of these wallets. Secondly, I like to look at the coin support, any third-party wallet integrations, any new unique blockchains or coins or tokens that are supported. And then third and finally, we'll end on the price. And then of course, I'll link down any deals or discounts that we have for helping out the channel. So let's jump right into it. So just to reiterate before I start with either one of these are both brand new wallets. As of filming this in early November 2023, these are both brand new. They've both come out within the last month, and there's been some very big changes. On the Ellipal side, I'll be honest, we'll get into the details in just a second here. There's a lot of, we'll call them internal upgrades, whereas the Keystone Pro 3, the overall user experience changed. So let's start with that one. And so with the Keystone Pro 3 here, obviously this is a 4-inch touchscreen display. You can see obviously the form factor is smaller than the Ellipal. When we're talking about form factor and design, obviously Ellipal here is built like a tank. I mean, it uses a full metal enclosure. If it, for example, got dropped, you would be perfectly fine. On the new Keystone Pro 3, it has been redesigned to have a sort of attempted anti-glare display. But when we look at the actual design, they've actually modified it and made it a little bit thinner. You have obviously your power button on the right here. We have a full fingerprint authenticator now. You can use this to unlock the device, sign and send transactions, and you can also use it as 2FA, where if you want to activate it, where you can require a fingerprint and the PIN code in order to sign or send a transaction, you can do that, which is a really welcome and nice security upgrade. Then of course, these are both air gap devices that use QR codes for transmission. You have an upgraded and much better low light camera here, and I'll kind of show you a quick demo of that. And then on the bottom here, they've made an update to where you can upgrade the firmware as well as charge the device with the USB-C. And then of course, you still have the optional firmware update card slot for the SD card slot right here. So they've made some really big modifications to this. In terms of the camera, it's really hard to tell, but it gets the job done. It scans quicker, even though it's not full color, it very quickly, just because most QR codes are obviously black and white, it scans very quickly, and the processor is a very welcome upgrade. So the speed and the overall experience on the software is really nice. Now, still talking about the overall form factor, it's heavy. It's still built. It's obviously not as robust as the design for the Ellipal Titan 2 in terms of the overall enclosure, but it is a high quality, and they've made it in a way to where it's still higher quality and yet affordable and ultra secure. Now, when we talk about the changes that the internal made to the actual security of the device, this now has 3 different secure element chips. One's designed specifically for fingerprint authentication. You have one that's designed specifically for keeping the private keys offline in its own dedicated area. And then you have all the other data that runs the software, the code, on an independent security element chip. So this is ultra secure. I'm very excited that they've done this. Not to mention, this device here is 100% open source with their hardware, firmware, even the bill of materials. I mean, everything on this is 100% open source. It takes a lot of work to do that if something was previously closed source. So that's interesting. Now, as I started testing this device, and of course, this still has the CCAL5 Plus secure element chips across all 3 secure element chips on this one. When I was testing this device as opposed to like the old Keystone Pro, the version 2, this is vastly different. So one thing I want to point out here, and some people may like this and some people may not, because this is 100% open source now, they no longer have the Keystone app. I personally liked using it because you had native apps here that you could use, and you were not required to use a third-party wallet, such as Metamask, such as Blue Wallet, such as Trust Wallet, right? Now, I know a lot of people love those wallets and they use them, and that's fantastic. I use them as well. The reason that they stopped using the dedicated Keystone app for this Pro 3, it'll still work for the older ones, but the reason they stopped doing it is because the code on that app is not 100% open source, and they were really dedicated to make this device 100% open source across the board. So the bottom line is, if you want to use this device, you better have Metamask set up or Blue Wallet, or if you check the link down below in the descriptions, all of the open source wallets that this is fully integrated with. You can use any of those wallets to initiate and sign and send transactions. The two that I tested personally were Blue Wallet for a PSBT, you know, doing Bitcoin transactions that are partially signed, and then you use the software app and the hardware wallet to sign it. And then of course Metamask. They just added OKX app as well, so there's a lot of different apps that you can use for this. Obviously the most popular that most people are going to use is going to be Metamask. Those are the only two that I personally tested, since those are the two that I use. It worked really well. There was no issues in the user experience. It takes a little getting used to if you're used to using a dedicated app. So even like if you use Ellipal and you use Ellipal's app to initiate transactions, to check your portfolio, all of that kind of stuff, it's a little bit different getting used to if you're only doing third-party wallets. Now, I use third-party wallets on older devices, but it was only far and few between. I still used a kind of a combination between the dedicated native application that they used as well as third-party wallets. So getting used to that for me personally was a little bit, we'll call it a learning curve. I didn't do it as frequently, right? So if you're already doing that, then you won't skip a beat on this one. So that's one thing I really wanted to be upfront and tell you about, kind of the user experience. If you like to have a dedicated app to initiate and sign and send transactions and you don't like using third-party wallets, then this one isn't for you. But if you like open source and you already like using those other wallets, then more power to you, right? You know, you connect the software wallet, it shows you right here. You can do OKX, Metamask, Blue Wallet, Rabby, Safe, Block Wallet, Soulflare, Petra, Zapper, Yearn, Sushi, Swap. So it already has all these integrations built in, and it's very easy to use. You could obviously still send and receive transactions directly on the device. So, you know, it generates a QR code here for native SegWit Bitcoin address. You can generate multiple addresses on the device. You can have multiple people use the device with multiple fingerprints and have multi-sig enabled. So there's a lot of security features on this Keystone Pro 3 that I really like. Just wanted to give you sort of the overall security. 3 security element chips to recap, completely fully open source across the board, software, firmware, hardware, and the overall user experience was a little bit different to get used to for me, but if you only use those third-party wallets, then this won't change your life in any single way, but it does not work with the Keystone app. So just keep that in mind. If you want something that's simple, that uses a dedicated app and you don't have to mess with third-party wallets, then this is probably not the right one for you. But overall, very impressed with the security upgrades, very impressed that they took open source very seriously. Fantastic job for the Keystone 3 Pro team. I've been using this for the past several weeks now and haven't had any issues whatsoever. Just a little bit of a different use that I'm used to on the old Keystone, but that's neither here nor there. So that's the security, design, form factor, and overall user experience for the Keystone Pro 3. Now, taking a look at the same thing here for Ellipal. The form factor did change a little bit. So it looks very similar, right? This has an anti-tamper sort of mechanism built in here and enclosure. So some of the physical changes that they actually made here, even though that you still have the one mechanical button here, on the back, they changed the QR code and the camera to have sort of a diamond gold outline, which is different because it used to have just like an upside down triangle. I mean, aesthetically, that's pretty cool, you know, for diamond hands and whatnot. But the big thing here is the camera. The aperture, the light, the quality of the camera got upgraded pretty well. Still have it completely air gapped. There's no ports. You know, it has a charging dock that you can use. This one you can upgrade with a SD card slot only. There is no USB-C option if you want to do it easy online. People asked me because I use a Mac as well, it's a pain in the butt to get a firmware upgrade, if I'm just being perfectly honest, on a Mac. If you have a PC, they already have probably a port for an SD card slot for you to upgrade your firmware. On a Mac, as you know, you'll have to get a dongle or you'll have to get something else in order to be able to use it. So just know that. You're gonna have to buy a dongle, you're gonna have to go through a painful experience to do it, but it is ultimately more secure. So there's the trade-off, convenience, security, the dilemma, age as old as time. So be that as it may, I just wanted to be upfront that you can technically do that for both, but this one requires an SD card slot. And if you're a Mac user like me, it's just an extra step, an extra dongle. And so as far as the physical hardware, it looks a lot the same. They upgraded the processor, they upgraded the camera. The overall user experience is a lot smoother. The display, you probably can't tell, but it is an anti-laminate display, which theoretically is going to reduce the glare when you're in sunlight and other scenarios, which is really nice. And it feels obviously very steady. They do give you screen protectors and other things as well to protect for scratches. Like I said, there's a lot of welcome internal upgrades. And if you want the full breakdown of that, check out the full dedicated review video. But the big thing here from a security standpoint that you want to know is that this now has a CCEAL5 plus security element chip, whereas the first Ellipal Titan or Ellipal Titan Mini did not. And there's a couple reasons for this. Number one is they figured they didn't need a secure element chip in the first iteration because it had so much security on the external part of the device, where if someone tried to access the physical device and extract the private keys, it would self-destruct anyway, so they wouldn't get access to it. And so it saved them money. But as they went through and sort of refined and redid everything on this device, basically what happened is they went through and realized, okay, to make this more secure, we want to make sure that the private keys are generated on the device and stored on the device. So it's just an extra layer of security that they did for this time around. So all of these are welcome upgrades, right? As far as the user experience, it's the exact same as the Ellipal Titan one, nothing changed. As far as the actual app that you use, the dedicated Ellipal app to initialize and sign and use obviously this device to sign the transaction, but you know, a dedicated Ellipal app for native applications. It does support third-party apps, you know, same like Metamask, Trust Wallet, Blue Wallet, things like that. So you can still use all the third-party wallets. It has dApps built in. It has swapping and staking built in. Again, that's not inherently built into the Keystone Pro 3, but you can still do that if the functionality is there for your coins on Metamask or whatever you use, right? So this one has native staking. This one has native apps built in. So if you like a little bit easier user experience where you're not required to use those third-party wallets, then this one is probably a better one for you in that regard. This one theoretically is easier to use because you just have to download one app and you can still use the entire device, whereas this one does require, this is more of like an advanced user, right, that cares about security, that uses these different mechanisms for signing and sending transactions like me. But just want to be honest with you, if I was a new user, this is going to be easier to use on the Ellipal Titan 2 versus, you know, the Keystone Pro 3. Doesn't make it better or worse, it's just a personal preference. In terms of the design and user experience, it's pretty much the same, right? And while I'm holding this, we'll start with the coin support changes that they made here, and then we'll talk about the Keystone Pro 3 in a second. So the coin support is largely the same. I would say 99.9% the same for the Ellipal Titan 2 versus, say, the Ellipal Titan 1. Some of the big changes that they do is they have different test nets and different versions of like ADA. You have the Byron network and the Shelley upgrade. So different variations of that. You know, new coins that didn't exist in the last cycle, you know, like Aptos, different blockchains are being added. You still have all the main coin support, all the main blockchains, Solana, Avalanche, Ethereum, obviously, and you can add several coins. This one has like XRP and Flare, Tron, Polkadot. The list goes on, and all the BSC and Binance Smart Chain coins, BEP20 tokens. On this, you know, obviously you connect the app, you can add coins by just doing this here. You can go through, and this one has, I would say out of 10 out of 10, this is a 9.5 out of 10 in terms of coin support. There's really nothing here that I can find that it's missing, except for maybe some features on, you know, other coins that are very hard to get on hardware wallets. Like for example, Monero or XMR is a coin that I love, and they still don't have a native app for it. But of course, you can still do third-party apps for that. And that's just inherently with that coin is complex to do, so it's a lot harder to do. But, you know, got your Doge, got your DOT, got everything here. Metamask, third-party wallets, you know, all of these that you're seeing here as I'm scrolling through, these are all native to the Ellipal app. So when I say native app versus third party, these are built right into the Ellipal. So you don't need any other app other than the Ellipal app to initiate, manage your portfolio, and then using this device to sign the transactions. The one hiccup that I don't like about signing transactions with this, and I'll just be honest, it's a personal preference. This one, you have to scan anywhere between 4 to 50 QR codes dynamically that rotate through to send a transaction. And for me personally, that takes way too much time. Like I get that they wanna be, you know, ultra secure and try to have multiple verifications, but that's overkill in my opinion, right? So if I'm trying to send a transaction and I need to do it fast, it's gonna take a while because it has to rotate through all of those QR codes when you're signing with this. That's the only thing that's annoying to me that I don't like using this for as a personal preference on user experience. If you don't mind that, then there's nothing wrong with this. It just takes a long time. And sometimes there's errors, sometimes there's other things that happen because it takes so long, it kind of times out and stuff. So just a little bugaboo that I personally am annoyed with, but it's not like a deal breaker. It's not so bad that it's unusable or anything like that. That's the coin support. Thanks for listening to my rant on that, but the coin support is gonna pretty much have everything you have. Again, to verify your specific coin, check the link down in the description below. But overall, this is 99.9% the same in terms of coin support user experience as the Ellipal Titan 1. When we talk about the Keystone Pro 3 and its overall coin support, as I mentioned earlier, there's no native apps on this device. And when I say that, I mean, you obviously have the apps and the coins that are supported in the firmware on the hardware device. But because there's no native app like they used to have for the original Keystone Pro, then your coin support is going to be limited to the third-party wallet that you use. Meaning, if you use Blue Wallet, which is a Bitcoin wallet and a Lightning wallet, you're only gonna have Bitcoin. If you use Metamask, you're virtually gonna have any coin token that you need. Staking on it, delegating on it, any functionality on Metamask. I mean, and this is the only device, by the way, that works with both the extension, the desktop app, and the mobile app. All other devices that work with MetaMask only usually work with the Chrome extension or whatever. So this one works universally with all apps. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But the coin support for here is gonna be obviously based on your third-party wallet. If you use MetaMask, you're gonna have unlimited coin support. Any coin you can think of, it's gonna be supported. With a disclaimer, I'm sure there's a few obscure ones that they no longer support, but you get what I mean, right? This is going to be virtually every coin that MetaMask supports, you're gonna be able to support on this device, and then store your private keys offline in one of the 3 security element chips. If you want to add multiple third-party wallets, let's say I want to have Blue Wallet and MetaMask, I use both of those wallets simultaneously. I use Blue Wallet for Bitcoin just for testing, and I also use MetaMask for all the altcoins. You can do that. You can have multiple third-party wallets and have your private keys all stored on this device. This also allows you to have 3 different seed phrases from a security standpoint. I forgot to mention that, because it has 3 individual security element chips. So theoretically, you, your brother, your wife, or whatever, 3 individuals can use the same wallet securely, which is really cool in my opinion. There's some obvious reasons why you wouldn't want to do that, but it makes sense for like a husband and wife that trust each other to share the same device, but each have their own seed phrase and have their own wallets that they want to manage using the same signing device. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, and you know, there's reasons to do that and not do that. That's up to your own personal discretion, but you have functionality here in this Keystone Pro 3 that you didn't have before, and I like options. As long as it's secure, that's really the bottom line of all why it matters to me. Now, that was a long and winded sort of response, but I hope you guys like the context and the detail that I give in this that helps you make a more informed decision when you're purchasing a hardware wallet, right? So let's end this on the price. Now, before I give you the full retail price of what each of these wallets are, and then I'll give you my final decision if I could only pick one, which one I would choose. If you want to check my links down below in the description, by the time this video releases, there's going to be some awesome Black Friday deals for both of these. The exact numbers I'm not going to know as of filming this, but I know that they're going to be in the range of 20 to 50% off, right? I can tell you that much. With that being said, check out my links in the description. They'll always give you the best possible deal because they're programmed to their promos, and it also helps the channel out. So now that that disclaimer's out of the way, let's get to the full retail price. As of shooting this, and these are subject to change, but as of shooting this, the full retail price of this new Ellipal Titan 2 is $169 US. Could be more, could be less as of when you receive this video, but that's the full retail price as of filming this. The Keystone Pro 3 full price as of filming this is $149. With the Black Friday deal that's going on for it right now, it's less than $100. If you're interested in any of these wallets and you're watching it during November or December of 2023, you're gonna get some amazing deals, obviously, for holiday and for Black Friday and things of that nature in the US. I'll always have the best price no matter what time of year you're watching this video. They're very close in price. I mean, a $30 difference. I've gone over all the features and the benefits of each one and the ease of use. Now, me personally, if you've watched me for any amount of time, you know that security is the #1 thing that I decide with when I choose a hardware wallet. And in fact, there's something that most people don't realize is that, let's say there's one wallet that you deem more secure than the other, but you have another wallet, and I'll use these two wallets as an example. Let's say that the Keystone Pro 3 is more secure due to its open source nature, due to its multiple security element chips. If this one is more secure, but is, say, less user-friendly, and say the Ellipal Titan 2 here is more user-friendly and is slightly less secure, you know, those are trade-offs you have to make for yourself. Me personally, the winner of this, if I have to only pick one, is the Keystone Pro 3 due to that security. I don't like always using third-party wallets. Sometimes I want to use a native app, say like Ellipal Titan, and I want to be able to use a lot of altcoins that I can easily send transactions for that I don't need, you know, or maybe I don't want to use a third-party wallet. Maybe there's a vulnerability going on in Metamask that they haven't patched yet. I'm just using that as an example, right? But there's trade-offs either way. The winner here is, for me, Keystone Pro 3. It's cheaper, it has multiple security element chips, 100% open source, whereas Ellipal is only partially open source. It is a factor for me. But again, I will say that if you're newer to the scene and you're not used to using, and you're not an advanced user, let's say you just want to, you know, have a cold wallet, but you want to manage multiple altcoins from one app, then I would choose the Ellipal Titan for you. I mean, it's still a very robust, very high quality device. These two are very close and similar in terms of their size, their price, their security, the fact that they're both air gapped. There's no Bluetooth or NFC or Wi-Fi or any of that. So these two are ultra secure in that regard. So you really can't go wrong with either one, but I will say that the Keystone 3 or Pro 3 is going to win this particular round for me. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this, let me know down in the comment section below. Also comment below what other hardware wallets you want me to do comparisons on, and we can just go from there. I mean, I've covered this in detail. In fact, I've probably repeated some things, but I'm really excited because these two wallets are pretty awesome to use. And so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about it, let me know. I'll do my best to answer it for you in a timely manner. And go ahead and click right here. You can watch the breakdown that I did between the Ellipal Titan 2 and the SafePal S1 Pro. That was recently also released, and I will see you guys in that video. Crypto Renegade out.